my name is Melanie. I'm part of Toralug, and this is our group build for this year at Brickworld and also for BrickFest. We had one of our group members create the standards, and so it was really easy for people to jump in, create these little individual rooms for each character, and then we could just combine it. After a while, some of our members started getting creative, so they created some double habitats, characters that kind of fit together with one another, that would actually work better as a team as opposed to two separate habitats on their own. So that one there is one of our unique ones. And then we have some great ones that are trying to create some action shots here. A lot of cool techniques, or even some forced perspective. We have a lot of our builders who are trying to create these as different as possible, and so when they create over 10 of them, they're trying to come up with these crazy techniques. So even something like the surfer, creating that depth and showing the character just in such a great action shot. This is one of mine, the painter. I wanted to recreate that exact sticker, so that's what that little area is there.
Very cool. I like how you did that. That's a neat idea.
Thank you. Some of my favorite ones that aren't mine is Hazmat Guy there with that crazy monster behind it. The Sherlock Holmes habitat is actually created by one of our members who doesn't build. She builds calendars mostly, and so it was great for us to have these new members who were taking the initiative to at least build a couple of the habitats and be part of this big group display. Series 6 is what we started with, and that was mainly Simon and Nick that started this 2 years ago, and they actually kept them intact, so when I had to collect them from them, I just had to change a little bit of the stuff that Simon decided he wasn't going to change. Series 7 is actually a really unique series for us because we had the most different builders. So some of our displays are actually really, really cool. We did a double habitat trying to incorporate more characters, so we did the Scotsman as the father of the bride, and that was a fun one. That one there was my first habitat that I made. That was over 2 years ago, and I still had it intact, so I was really happy to keep that original build. These three actually down here were made by a member of our leg that actually passed away last year, and so we were lucky enough to still have them, and they're still the original build by her, and we made sure to write that they were built by her and that this is in memory of her, because she was an amazing builder.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so Series 9 was also one of the ones that we had in the window. So most of them were built, but we had a few that were rebuilt. So some of the stuff here stayed intact for a couple of years, which is pretty awesome. I built this one here because we had a last-minute change, and so I decided that I'd just do a little night, having a bit of a break. Yeah, and some of our we have some really cool ones where it's just a little bit of a scene, like the baseball player. Even I think the paintball player is such a good one as well, showing those action shots. This one here is mine, a double habitat of climber going up to get some ice cream.
Okay, so you incorporated it from one level to the next. That's cool. I like how you did.
So once we started doing those double habitats, we realized we don't have to always make them side by side. We could also make them on top of one another, which makes sense for something like the mountain climber climbing up, right? Even this one here is a great one as well. Little gingerbread man being cooked up, and the elf making the presents. So keeping those light characters together, those holiday characters. These are our Lego Movie ones, which we actually built before we watched the Lego Movie, so we weren't too sure who some characters were, right? So some of them were really easy, like the Abraham Lincoln. We knew that obviously he would be in some sort of presidential role, but something like the Calamity Drone, we had no idea what her purpose was in the movie, so we try to create some generic scenes of all of them, and at least in some sort of area that would make sense. Simpsons, which is the most recent series to come out, a lot of our characters wanted to, a lot of our lug members wanted to keep the characters within their same, I guess, their usual areas within the show. So we had a lot of the fans actually in our lug build for these. I did the double Nelson and Millhouse. I really liked the scene where they string him up on the flagpole and laugh at him from his underwear, so that's something I wanted to incorporate. And we have some great ones, like this is a double of Itchy and Scratchy sort of trying to prank each other, and Marge and Homer going for a little bit of a ride. And finally Team GB. This was one of the last series we actually weren't too sure we were going to do. We got to the point where we were building habitats probably one a day, trying to get this done for Brickworld, and I actually built all of Team GB on my own, very last minute. So we were going to change the dimensions because there's only 9 characters in the theme, but then we decided that it would be inconsistent with the rest of our series. So we just created larger rooms for each character, and so a double of the swimmer diving down, or even a double or a triple of the gymnast and all the different things that she would do in the Olympics, right? Yeah. So those are our collector habitats. We have over 200, and that's over 20 builders. They're a pretty basic standard, and it was great for us to be able to get so many different builders involved. It was such an easy way to even get some of our inactive members to definitely contribute, because we wanted this to be as big of a group project as possible. Yeah, so we're really excited. This is the first time we've ever seen it all together, and we didn't realize it was this big, so we're really excited for us to finally be able to show it to people, because we've been posting them individually online, and I think people have gotten the hint that this is what we were going to be doing for Brickworld, but I don't think anybody imagined it to be this extreme.
Yeah. Well, it's very impressive with it all laid out like this. So what was some of the challenges you faced while putting it together? I'd imagine, with 20 different builders, you've got to coordinate who's building what and things like that.
The biggest challenge we had was maintaining standards. So once our builders decided they could build outside of the box, no pun intended, they started forgetting about the standards. And, the habitats still work, and they still have these great little rooms, but when we try to put them together on the supports, if they didn't have the Technic parts on the sides, or if they were maybe a plate or a brick too high, then we had to change it, because it was just inconsistent with everything else. And so that was probably our biggest challenge. We set up for over 6 hours, and it was probably because our standards weren't consistent. We could have maybe been a little bit harder on people about that, but we wanted people to focus on the fun aspect of habitats, which, we had so many of our builders who don't usually build. They're fans of Lego, but they're not mock builders, who said, I want to build more, because building this tiny little thing it doesn't take very long, but you can add so much detail to make it so much fun. So we were really happy that we had some of those builders step up and be a part of this. So it maybe took us a little bit longer than we expected to set up, but it was definitely worth it.